the topic everyone is talking about with John McCAIN, Arizona's new immigration law signed by Governor Jan Brewer. Governor Brewer, how are you doing on this issue?
I'm very proud of the work she's doing, and I'm glad she highlighted the fact that the president would make a joke out of the problems on our border and the laws that our legislature passed. And again, you can't make it up when the Attorney General of the United States says that he's going to consider going to court and then testifies before Congress that he hasn't read the bill.
What do you think do they not understand the sort of, I mean, it seems to me the people of Arizona are sort of begging for it. I mean, I read the statute, and I think it's an effort to run immigration policy, which the state is not supposed to do under the Constitution. But I see it as a cry for help from Arizona. Why are you ignored, your state, or aren't you ignored?
Well, I just think it's exactly as you said. It's a reaction to the federal government to exercise its responsibility to secure the border. And by the way, our governor will point out the costs are horrendous of illegal immigration into our state, both in law enforcement, health care, so many other ways. And do not underestimate the sophistication of the human smugglers and the drug cartels. They work together. The human rights, you hear a lot about human rights in this debate. We don't hear much about the fact, the abuse of these people that these coyotes are bringing across, holding them for ransom, jamming them into panel trucks, mistreating them in the worst possible way. You would think that human rights advocates would say, let's secure the border so that over time we can bring people into our country in an orderly fashion and not be subject to these abuses. And the drug cartels are right along with them.
All right, what about businesses who hire people who are not documented? What should we do about that?
Once we secure the borders, we should prosecute employers to the fullest extent of the law that hire someone who's in this country illegally.
Why do we have to wait to secure the borders? Why can't we do those two things at the same time?
Well, I think you could do some of that, but the fact is if you have an unending stream of people into the country, then it obviously is addressing the symptom, not the problem.
Yeah, except for the fact that you don't have to hire, I assume you don't have to hire someone who's undocumented, if that's against the law. I mean, maybe the law should be changed, I don't know, but right now that's against the law.
Yes, it is.
So what about going after the companies?
I think we should do that, but I think we should get the border secure, and so that there is not this symptom, which is people who are coming to this country and working illegally. All
right, so what happens, can you pick up the phone and call the White House or call the president and say, look, this is a real problem to my state. Can you do that?
Well, we've written and we've communicated with people.
Do you get responses?
No, we don't.
None?
Well, we sent a letter April 9th to Secretary Napolitano yesterday requesting National Guard on the border. Yesterday at a hearing I asked her about it, and that was April 9th. She said they're still looking at the request. Meanwhile, our wildlife refuges are being destroyed, people are coming across, and the drugs are coming across.
And you're getting boycotts because there's no progress in trying to solve the problems. Cities are boycotting your state.
Yeah, let me just give you two numbers real quick. Over 1.3 million pounds of marijuana were intercepted last year just in the Tucson sector of our border. Over 1.3 million pounds. They weren't prosecuting anybody that they apprehended with less than 500 pounds of marijuana. The other is 241,000 people crossed the Tucson sector illegally last year, and if you figure you catch 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5, roughly 1 million people crossed the Tucson border into Arizona last year, with rings that take them up to Tucson, up to Phoenix, and then distribute them all over the country. This is a crime syndicate. This is mafia at its worst. It is not just some poor person that wants to come across our border. It's drug cartels and human smuggling and human rights abuses to a degree that is appalling.
I don't think a lot of people realize what's going on in Mexico, and I guess that's sort of why my attention is so focused on it, because it's just right over the border, and the level of violence down there is unthinkable.
Well, part of it is between the drug cartels themselves as they fight over these lucrative routes. Part of it, of course, is the government trying to crack down on these cartels. And look, I love the Mexicans. I respect President Calderon, but the truth is the only institution that can really be trusted is the Army. because the police and Border and others, Border Patrol and others, have been corrupted by these billions and billions of dollars that are made. So I respect them. We have done a lot of work with the Mexican government trying to help them bring this under control, but honestly, they're fighting an uphill battle.
Explain to me, no matter what the topic is in Washington, when I meet with senators, members of Congress, I say, we wrote a letter to the White House. And I don't know if it's probably true the last administration did, but where do these letters go? Because I never hear anyone getting any responses back. I mean, how do we actually get action?
The only way I think we're going to really get action on the border is the American people being listened to. 70% of the people in Arizona supported the law we passed. 60% of them and more of the American people support it. And they know that in Arizona we need a secure border. And so maybe public opinion will have an effect. And again, people say you can't support the border, secure the border. You can secure the border. John Kyle and I have a 10-point plan to secure the border. It takes people, it takes fences, and it takes technological surveillance, which we can do.
Senator, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Next, the best of the rest, and Reverend Jeremiah.